Kildangan and Sarsfields, John, that's the first one you're going to look at.
Yeah, this is the Junior A hurling quarter final there, down again for this weekend and part of this big weekend there. Kildangan and Sarsfields, they're playing at 12 noon on Sunday in Templederry. Kildangan defeated Tommyvara there in the North final there, I'd say about 2 weeks ago, or a week ago, after extra time, 323 to 222. Kildangan were relegated last year down from intermediate, I suppose, and they came through the North. You know, I think there was a 6-team group in the North there. They came through there undefeated there, and you know, eventually getting over Tommyvara. Tommyvara are always in knockout stages, nearly always in that North championship there, and this year was no difference. You know, so Sarsfields were actually defeated last night in the mid-final there by Holy Cross. A good strong Holy Cross team there now. A bit of lot of these younger players coming through there now and strengthening Holy Cross, because they are like Tommyvara up north there. Holy Cross are sort of always in the knockout stages there of the mid, and oftentimes in the county championship. So, you know, I think you know, Kildangan in this one is probably good enough to get over the Sarsfields in it. And that brings us on to, as I said, Holy Cross then the opposite will be taking on Tommyvara. That's at the Rag on Sunday. As I said, we've spoken about Holy Cross there winning rather handsomely last night. What was it, 320 to 212 over the Sarsfields, and they'll be probably strong enough to take on Holy Cross and beat them there. As I said, there's a lot of them, you know, under 19s there that haven't made the senior grade, but it would be very, very good Junior A player, Stevie. So I'd expect Holy Cross to get over that one there, Stevie.
Okay, Michael, we're going to move on now, and you're going to give us Galtee Rovers St. Picon from the Banshire-Kilmyler area. They're taking on St. Patrick's from the Drangan-Clooneen area.
Yeah, Stevie, both games west versus south. So 5:15 in New Inn on Sunday evening. Galtee Rovers, the west winners, take on St. Pat's at Drangan. Galtee had a very good victory over Latin in the West final there on the 25th of August, 215 to 110. Got a goal from a sideline there in the first half, and that kind of set them on their way, and Latin never really recovered from it. And Galtee I would say had a very comfortable win in the end. Tony O'Brien got both their goals that day, and Bill Quirk got 7 points, with a lot of them coming from free zone helping. Chipped in with a couple of points as well. St. Pat's, they're like a common club down in the south. They won the Junior A football, but just found Mile Rovers too good for them in the south final there on the 8th of September last. They lost out 122 to 18 there to Mile Rovers. Of their 18 points, Cathal Foley got 11 of those points, 7 of them from frees. Tony O'Brien got 2 points. Tony O'Brien on both sides, so he got 2 points for St. Pat's. As I said, St. Pat's won the Junior A football. They did very well to get to the final, the Junior A hurling final. I just think that Galtee will have too much for them coming into this quarter final. The second quarter final then is in Bancha at 3 o'clock on Sunday. South champions Mile Rovers take on Latin. I would say Latin were very disappointed to lose the West final. They had lost out to Galtee in the round robin, but they just didn't seem to the pitch of the game in the West final there in Anacarty. They never led, as far as I know, in the whole game, and Galtee just looked way too strong, and that would have stung them out in Latin, you know. Mile Rovers, on the other hand, they're down 2 years from intermediate. They had a very good win against St. Pat's, 122 to 18. Stephen Quirk came off the bench after 6 minutes and took over the free taking duties. Finished up with 7 points. Dara Ryan, who's been knocking around a good while now for Mile Rovers, a very good guy that can play from midfield, anywhere from midfield up. He got 4 points from frees as well that day. Latin will need a huge improvement on their West final performance, I think, if they're to get the better of Mile Rovers in this one. Mile Rovers both teams I suppose are going very, very well in their respective football competitions. but it will be interesting to see where they go from here. But as I said, I think Latin were definitely stung by the West final result, and I'd hope to see a good bite back off them here in this game. But they'll need to be top of their game to get one over on Mile Rovers.
Okay, gentlemen, that's the Junior Hurling Championship quarter-finals that are now covered. We're going to move on to the relegation games in the Premier Intermediate Hurling maybe, or the Intermediate Hurling. Maybe we might go to John first of all. If you maybe just take up the mic on us, John, and you will now give us the games that you're going looking at.
The intermediate relegation there's the two semi-finals in it there. Arvale Rovers against Ballybacon Grange and Skehina Rinky against Upperchurch. The first one there up is Arvale Rovers against Ballybacon. Look, at Arvale survived relegation last year there in the semi-final. They pipped Upperchurch 20 points to 19 and stayed up at Ballybacon. Have survived relegation in 2023 there. They defeated Ballynahinch, I think that was in 2022. They defeated Ballynahinch there 2-14 to 19, a point victory over again. I fancy Arravale probably to survive that there. They have some nice young players there. Now they didn't get a great run early on in the against Golden in the championship, in the West Championship, but it will probably depend on their frame of mind on Sunday. And that's, I think, in this intermediate, a lot of clubs maybe find it going tough there, and their heart may not be in it. They might drop down for a year or two back to junior, might not do them any harm. The second one is Skehina Rinky against Upperchurch. Upperchurch surviving last year there against Skeheen. Now, Skehina Rinky was in the semi-final of this 2 years ago, and I think this year has gone a bit pear-shaped for them. They were beaten in the south. They came out in beating the first two rounds of the county championship, having only won one game in the county league earlier on in the year, and that's funny enough is against Upperchurch. They gave a walk over the last day in round 3 of it. Again, it's going to be, are they really, do they really want to stay up at intermediate? Or a lot of these clubs, when they come up, they find it they're going a bit tough, and if they don't have the players coming through there, they find it. I certainly, from an Upperchurch point of view, they fought hard last year, but I think myself Upperchurch would probably it would suit them better maybe to be back down. But nobody wants to lose a match, and it's a very, very hard one to call on this one especially. Okay, Michael, we're going to go over to you in the what games now. Michael, are you going to look at?
Yeah, Stevie. So I suppose we'll start with the Premier Intermediate relegation. A double-header in Dundrum on Sunday. First up at 2 p.m, Tracy's and Mines. A real close neighbours, Tracy's and Mines. But Tracy's come into it. They haven't had a good season. Started off well against Aerogue, got a win in the first round of the championship, but then lost heavily to Cashel in the second round of the West, and then didn't win any of their games in the round robin, Stevie. They've been plagued by injury throughout the year, and they've had a couple of players that are gone out travelling there to Dubai. So the Mines come into this off the back of a win, albeit against a Carrick Swan team that were already qualified, but that will do them the world of good. They had been playing Jason Ford up in the forwards. He's gone back to centre back now, with Conor McKelvey coming in, moving to centre forward, and that's kind of the fulcrum of the attack and the defence. Jason Ford, of course, played centre back for UL in his college days and won a couple of Fitzgibbons from that position. Tracy score about 18 points a game on average. The Mines 21, but a lot of that comes from the stick of Ford and McKelvey. A tight game, I think, in store. The second one is Newport and Mine. This was a relegation game from 12 months ago. At the time, Mine got a victory over Newport, and I think actually Mine are playing better this year than they were at this time last year. Garrod O'Connor got 15 points the last day as they lost out by 1 point to Gortnahu, and I think Mine would be very disappointed not to have gotten something out of that game. They led 19-14 at one stage and looked on course to get the victory. Newport have struggled throughout their group. They lost their last game there to Borlahan 116-16. Keane Flanagan got 5 points from play from wing back, and they relied in on the Floyds. Up front, Sean O'Brien has been injured. I think he might be back though for this game, but I couldn't see past mine in this game. The Senior Hurling relegation then, Stevie, both on Saturday, both in Nina. half two, the first one up, Borrisolee and Laura. Borrisolee finished bottom of their group on the last day, losing that game to Drum. I suppose surprisingly, they had beaten Tumivara in round one, and then lost by only a point to Killaron in round two. And Drum had lost 2 games coming into it, but the head-to-head put them into relegation, a place that Boris, I suppose, would never have envisaged for them as a club. Laura have had a very indifferent season. Like, they finished excellently and were, I suppose, a Jake Morris 21-yard free in the Nina game from avoiding relegation, because they got the win against Holy Cross. The best game I'd say they've played in a long time, even winning Seamus Arena and winning intermediate. They really put it up to Holy Cross, got a real good victory over it, led from start to finish, and Owen McIntyre coming out of that with 2-2. So they'll have that. They'll have that in their locker going into this game, and I don't know, will they see a weakness in Borrisolee, but it certainly, they like to perform again in this one. But I suppose, look, on tradition would always say that Borrisolee and the group that they were in, that it was a very tough group, and they were unlucky to finish in the bottom two. The other game at 4 o'clock, Templederry and Rosgray. Both teams just not having a good season, Stevie. Neither of them have a win. Rosgray are just not scoring well. Looked very disinterested in their last game against Thurles. I know that their 4th place had been decided when they played them, but they didn't really put up a fight at all. And heading into the relegation, you would have been expecting them to look for something in that game, and it just wasn't there. They were beating double scores, 228 to 114. Templederry, they've got a couple of bad beatings. If you remember in the senior pod there, John said that they conceded 4-31 to Killadang, and they conceded a big score to Holy Cross 6-26 or to JK Brackens in round 1, 6-26. So I suppose their Achilles heel is that they concede too many goals, 13 over the 3 games, Stevie. But look, the other side of that is that despite losing, Templederry are scoring well, and they're able to get scores on the board. If they can stop conceding goals, I think they will be in a they'll win this game against North rivals Rosgray.
I think myself that if you're looking back at the very first one there that you were just talking about there, I think Borrisolee, I just can't see them dropping.
No, I don't think I could see them dropping. I don't think I can see either of the 2 teams dropping with the way Laura played against Holy Cross. Now look, I suppose in the back of their heads will always be that game against Nina where they conceded the 7 goals. And look, that was a Nina team that were on top form in that game, and it was probably a very much a welcome to Sina hurling for Lara. But as I said, they picked their game up against Holy Cross, got an excellent win that nearly saved them from relegation. A win I would say that nobody predicted, only the 30 or 35 that are in the dressing room with Lara. I'm not sure how they'll get on in this one, but I don't see them going down either, Stevie.
Thank you again for joining me, Michael.